Have you ever stopped to think why so many people seem stuck in an endless cycle of financial struggle, while a small portion of the population keeps getting richer and richer? The answer lies in the numbers. Half of the American population doesn't own a single investment asset. That's right, zero. Nothing invested. Now, the next 40%, typically considered the middle class, hold only a tiny portion of the market, about 12% of all investments. And what about the top 10%? They control a staggering 88% of all stocks and investment assets. This is the brutal gap that separates the poor from the rich. And what creates this divide isn't luck, inheritance, or some rare natural talent. It's financial behavior, the way you think, act, and invest. The best part? It doesn't matter where you're starting from. There's a clear and achievable path to climb, step by step. In this video, you're going to discover the 7 levels of the investor, understand where you currently stand, and most importantly, identify the next step toward financial freedom. So if you're serious about changing your life, stick with me until the very end. Level 1. Broke. No money to invest. This is the starting point for millions of people, not just in the United States, but all over the world. Maybe it's your reality, too. Every cent that comes in disappears. The money barely hits your account before it's gone. Bills, debts, temptations, and false promises of quick cash. You've tried sports betting, the latest trendy cryptocurrency, online raffles, and maybe even dreamed of winning the lottery. It's not stupidity, it's desperation. Because when you're at rock bottom, anything that shines looks like a rope to salvation. Your phone is probably full of videos from people claiming they turned $10 into $1,000 with a fail-proof secret. And even though you're skeptical, there's always that thought, what if it works for me too? But here's the hard truth. At this level, your greatest asset isn't money, it's your mindset. What will pull you out of this stage isn't luck or magic. It's the decision to stop losing money and start investing in your knowledge. Podcasts, books, videos, mentorships. No one levels up without first changing their way of thinking. Because if you don't reprogram how you see money, you'll stay forever stuck in this first stage. Level 2. Beginner. Investing up to $500 per month. You've taken a step. Now, there's a little left over at the end of the month, and for the first time, instead of spending it all, you're setting aside a fixed amount to invest. It's not much, but it's a start. You downloaded an investment app, put around $25 per week into an index fund or a stock you heard someone talk about. You don't understand it fully yet, but you feel like you're making progress. Your money goes up by $10, and you feel like Warren Buffett himself. It drops by $20, and you're tempted to pull it all out. You bought a fractional share and already tell your friends, I'm investing. They nod like they get it, but deep down, none of you really know what you're doing. But even with a little, you're developing a new habit: saving, waiting, not touching it. At this point, you're already worth 1,000 times more than those still stuck at level 1. Because now you understand the game. Investing is not about getting rich quick, it's about building with consistency. You've researched compound interest, understood how dividends work. The most important thing is that you've started to believe it's possible. And that faith in yourself is your true wealth at this moment. Level 3. Junior. Investing up to $5,000 per month. This is where the game truly changes. You've stopped just saving and started investing with a strategy. It's no longer about leftover change. Now it's part of your plan. You've built a portfolio: real estate funds, ETFs, stocks, private pension, and maybe even some crypto, but done responsibly. You've realized that buy low, sell high sounds great in theory. But now you prefer monthly contributions with a focus on the long term. You have a spreadsheet where you track your wealth growth, clear goals, and a timeline for that dream of financial independence. Unlike your friends who still buy impulsively on credit, you're buying freedom. You understand the value of time. You know that money well invested today will buy you years of peace tomorrow. At this stage, you're not just learning about money. You're learning about yourself, discipline, self-control, and future vision. And this is the point where you stop chasing money and start making money chase you. Level 4. Professional investor. Over $10,000 per month. Congratulations, you've entered the elite group of investors. At this level, your money works harder for you than you work for it. With $10,000 per month, you can already invest in real estate, finance your first or second apartment, diversify with international investments, back startups, or even start your own business with personal capital. You begin thinking the way the wealthy think. No longer seeking opportunities, you create them. You have access to consulting services, networking groups, and perhaps you're already part of an investment community or mastermind. And most importantly, your mindset has shifted from how much can I earn to how can I build something that lasts? Because here, you've realized that true wealth isn't built in a month. It's built with patience, clarity, and strategy. If you've reached this point, it's time to think about your legacy. And more than that, it's time to help others rise as well. Because when you teach, you learn twice. And building together is always stronger than growing alone. Level 5. The visionary. Investments from $100K to $500K per year. At this stage, you stop being just a disciplined investor and start becoming someone with a long-term vision and real impact. Your monthly contributions are no longer just a priority. They've become part of your lifestyle. Money works for you at full capacity, like an invisible team operating day and night. You've diversified your portfolio with stocks from established companies, real estate in strategic locations, international funds, purpose-driven cryptocurrencies, and perhaps even alternative investments like art, startups, or forest assets. The focus here is not just on multiplying capital, it's on protecting wealth, ensuring passive income generation, and starting to think about legacies. Your mindset has shifted. You no longer think about spending money, but about allocating capital efficiently. And with that, you begin to realize that your freedom isn't about how much you earn, but about how much your money can generate on its own. Financial freedom becomes a realistic goal, not a distant dream. You now attend events, mentorships, masterminds. Your network becomes as valuable as the assets you own. Now, you don't just follow the financial game rules, you start influencing how it's played. Level 6. The Empire Builder. Investments above $500,000 a year. This level, you're no longer just an investor, you've become the architect of your own empire. With investments exceeding $500,000 per year, your approach to the market is strategic and precise. Companies become targets, not for consumption, but for acquisition or participation. You already own high-end real estate that generates consistent income, invest in startups with global potential, and participate in investment rounds that most people don't even know exist. Your name starts circulating among exclusive circles. You're invited to private opportunities, receive pitches before they hit the market, and perhaps you even have a family office managing part of your assets. But more than the wealth itself, what defines this level is control over time. You choose who you work with, what you build, and where you allocate your capital. This is where your influence begins to shape businesses, impact lives, and create wealth for generations. You've understood that money is just a tool. The true goal is to build something that keeps growing, even when you stop. And this kind of building requires vision, courage, and a long-term strategy. This is the game, of those who have stopped seeking returns and started creating value. Level 7. The liberator. The ultimate freedom at the top of the journey. It's not the money that impresses, it's time. In Level 7, the investor achieves what everyone desires, but few can define: total freedom. It's not about specific numbers, but about the ability to live with purpose, without financial pressure. Your portfolio is now robust, automatic, and resilient, capable of sustaining your lifestyle and funding new projects without compromising the principal capital. Here, you can choose to scale even more, or simply enjoy life as you wish. You can become a mentor to young entrepreneurs, fund causes you believe in, invest in solutions that will transform the world, or even build your own foundation. The difference now lies in your intention. You've already won the money game. The focus shifts to leaving a legacy, creating impact, and inspiring others to follow the same path. Level 7 is about transcendence, understanding that money is finite, but what you build with it can be eternal. At this point, you don't just live in abundance, you become the source itself. Now that you know the 7 levels of investors, it's time to ask yourself a real question. What level are you at right now? And even more important, what level do you want to be at in the next 12 months? Because what separates average investors from those who achieve true financial freedom is not luck, talent, or inheritance. It's decision, action, and consistency. Maybe you're starting from scratch, or maybe you've been investing for years. But no matter where you start, one thing is certain: leveling up requires action. And this video might have been the spark you needed to stop procrastinating and start taking real action. The next step is in your hands. Will you continue just consuming content, or will you turn this knowledge into real results? If this video made sense to you, don't leave without hitting that like button, because it tells YouTube that this content matters and helps spread this message to more people. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on the notification bell, because in the next videos, I'll show you practical strategies to move from zero to the next level, even if you're still earning little or have never invested a cent. And if you made it this far, leave a comment below. On my way to level 7. That way, I know you're part of the minority that not only watches until the end, but is also committed to making a real life change. Let's grow together. So get ready for the next video, because the journey is just beginning.